G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. Great to see you all again, and I must thank all my subscribers for subscribing to my channel. It's really good that you're enjoying what I do. Just a few repairs and lots of restorations. So yeah, it's nice to share it with you. This one could be quite interesting. It's a 6-volt car radio. It's a AWA Cruizer 6, probably from in around 5960. And it is a model, it's a 930A. There she is. A little bit worse for wear on this side of him there. Like, not real good at all. Speaker in here? Well, I'm guessing it is. And one of my friends gave me this and said he wants it going. Not fully restored, but going. Now, this is a valve unit, obviously, and I'll just give you a look at the back. There's the back, what's written there. 57, I would go 1957, 49th week. I think that's how they used to do them. So I would say it's a 1957 model. Okay, so there she is. That's what, well, might be better if I turn it up the right way. There she is. I'll give you a fairly good look at it. Let's investigate a bit further on this one. Let's get the top off. Power goes in here, and obviously a fair bit of power by the look of the lead on it and the fuse holder. Here, there's a bolt in the back of it here that secures the back of the radio, and but it would certainly need that when it's in the vehicle. It's a bolt, not just a screw in this old girl. So I think we'll get the top, maybe the bottom off, and see what's in here. Let's try the top first with the speaker, and we'll separate that, and then we'll have a look at what works inside and what work I've got ahead of me. And in this video, we'll try and fire it up and see can we get anything out of it. Okay, let's get on with it. And let's see what lurks in here. Well, okay, a little bit dusty. Not real sure how the speaker is, but there she is. Now that speaker is also connected to a socket here for an external speaker. I don't know whether that's original or I guess it is. And oh, we have a little bit of dial inside here. That's good. We might be able to patch a little bit of the dial up. Got some paper. Now this unit, here's our vibrator. And if you've watched my videos, you know all about vibrators. Yep, here's another one. Filter cap, transformer. So there's your power supply, and yeah, the rest of it. I'll just move your camera up there a little bit. There you go. Tuner section, audio output, 6AQ5 for the output. And I can already see a waxy. That's handy. It's real handy. Just bringing the light over a little bit. Another waxy in there, buried in there. So yeah, that's interesting. These are 6-volt tubes because it's a 6-volt radio. Otherwise, we'd have a 12 AQ7 or a whatever else on 12-volt filaments, not 6-volt filaments in these radios. Okay, I'm going to disconnect the speaker at the moment so we can handle this a little bit. And yeah, we'll check out what's underneath. Now, while we're disconnecting the speaker, also we've got a little chart here, which is a tube chart. There you go. There's all your tubes and or valves, as we used to call them here in Australia. We're getting used to this American thing. And there's our layout of everything. So for any of you guys that may want a snapshot of that, there you go. That's everything in it. Now, I'm not real sure about that speaker. She looks a bit wonky to me, and don't know. I'll have to get it off, but it does move. It may still play. Interesting. It may still work. Right, let's get the bottom off. Okay. And let's see what's under here. Oh dear. Well, the lid looks good on that side. Well, not really, but better than that side. Yeah. Waxies, and more waxies. Now, this is an interesting piece of gear to work on, isn't it? Wow. We've got a bit here to work on. Been a little bit of corrosion or something happening there. She's been a little bit warm, and wouldn't wonder the state of the capacitors. So the big thing is the transformer okay? We're going to have to find before we go too far with this fellow. The power supply is the place to start, I guess. Yeah, there's a few axes up here, but not too many in the actual radio stage. But yeah, this power supply that's going to give grief if there's anything. The actual dial actually moves. How about that? Gee, I didn't think that would. Just looking at that, I guess we put some power on it and see what happens. What could possibly be any worse than looking at what it is? Okay, let's get a power supply happening here with 6 volts and see, does our vibrator over here fire up to start with. And as I said, if you're not real sure about vibrators, check out one of my videos on early in the piece on a Chrysler with my big vibrator. It was a very interesting video, that one. Now, I guess we've got a choke in here. Not real sure whether it's... No, that's our audio output transformer. So we'll have to also check him straight off. We've got a red and a blue wire in there. This valve here is your rectifier, and it's a 6X4. So that's the actual rectifier. Another thing that's Fairly interesting is what's in there. He's only a cocky. Yeah, he's long gone. He didn't get much of a feed in there. Okay, enough looking. Let's hook her up. Negative here to positive over here. Might go in, goes in here to here. And turn him on. Nothing. Okay. So far so good. So far no good anyway. Okay. We got pretty close to 6 volts there. Okay. 6 volts on our switch. Turn him on. And we have nothing. The other side of the switch. There's our problem. Number one problem. Switch is not working. Nope. Not much there. And nothing there. Okay. We'll bridge the switch. Those two contacts there are bridged. So one is over here to the light. The other one goes to the radio somewhere. Okay. Let's bypass the switch and put him down here. Turn him over and we can see a bit more on this side, I think. Let's put the power supply on the bottom of our switch. Let's get a ground point here. Get back down here. And yes. Whoa, hang on a minute. I want to show you guys something. A little light up here, and I heard a noise from that fella. Okay, let's try this again. Look at this fella. And oh my God, we have activity. We do have activity. I want to get a better clip on here. We'll use our negative lead to turn him on and off. It is actually vibrating. I don't believe this. Let's see, we've got the voltage going over here. 5.6, that's not a lot. I'm not real sure which pin's which on this. Get that in shot for you. Where is our capacitor? Here he is. I'm looking at him. Okay, nothing there. 0.3 there. Nothing there. Let's see if we got any AC on our 6X4. No AC there at all. Well, at least I don't think so. AC goes there and nothing there. So I wonder, is our vibrator unit actually working? Just seeing what voltage is on in there. Ah, geez, Baz, come on, add it on AC. Okay, let's see here. We've got 5.6 there. That's our supply. And yeah, not much. 5.6 there. Not much happening. But then again, these caps could be leaky. We really need to, first of all, I'll grab a schematic on it. We'll check where the caps are, and then we'll start measuring the electro, see what's going on in here. There's not much happening over on this. There's a 6X4, the heater, I would say. But yes, not too much happening there. Not too much at all. But we might have a shorted cap. There's activity, which is one good thing. We'll come back shortly when we give this a little bit of a clean up, and then we can get back in here and start testing caps. Well, clean him up a little bit. He's looking a fair bit better. Now, I've removed the 6X4 in this one. I want to test the capacitor, and I want to see is the inverter switching the transformer. So, first of all, that's where we'll go with this. I've cleaned the contacts. Well, I've sprayed a bit of goo in the contacts of the vibrator. Did I say inverter? Vibrator. How could I forget that name? And I want to test that cap, which is across here. But first of all, now I'm just going to find a circuit and, see what's what with it. But that's the plan, to see if we're getting AC to our 6X4, and then checking our caps, our electrolytic here. I'm not sure of the values. Yes, I am. If we have a look at here, there's our values. Where's the camera? So we have a 20, a 10, and a 20, and 450 volt for the 20, 350 volt for the 10, and 25 volt for the 20. So I might drop this out and repack. Might be the easiest way. And also, well, see how we go at this end, but then check the audio transformer to make sure she hasn't burnt out for some reason, like a leaky grid cap. Okay, well, let's do this. And also, it's probably time we got rid of this front panel, which keeps floating around. It'll end up getting broken worse than what it is. All right, let me hold them by one side. Right, got to see, can we round up one of those things? Might be able to, but first of all, we've got to see if the radio is going to work. That's a bit easier to work on. Right, guys, we're back again. I replaced this capacitor, which was very, very leaky. Now, this was on the secondary of the transformer between the centre tap and one leg, but I don't think this is causing the problem. I think the problem is over here with the vibrator unit itself. Looking a bit ordinary here, especially this cap, which is split at one end, but that is only a suppressor cap on the B plus line in. So yeah, it looks like maybe a resistor. There's two 100 ohm resistors and maybe the vibrator. But anyway, I'll show you the circuit. Okay, bear with me because I'm just holding it here at the moment. Vibrator unit here. Here's our line in. There's our vibrator unit. Those two resistors I showed you. The transformer. And that little fellow there, C31, is the fellow I replaced. So he was leaky, but, and of course this is your 6X4, but I don't think this has any bearing on nothing coming out of here. Now I've checked from there to there. We've got about 350 ohms centre tapped, so about 700, 740 ohms across there. The secondary seems okay. Haven't tested the primary yet. What we'll do now is probably remove the vibrator and check these two resistors. So they're supposed to be 100 ohm to ground. If one of them is open, we've probably got burnt contacts in the vibrator. So what have we got here? On the 930, which we're working on, those two are 100 ohm resistors, and they're 220 ohm on a 931, which is the 12 volt version of this radio. So we may have to get this thing apart and clean contacts. It does attempt to vibrate. It sort of makes a strange sort of noise, but the thing is, it wants to go. So I would really like to keep the circuit as original. I don't want to put a solid state device in there at the moment. So yeah, we'll just see how we go with this. I'll remove the vibrator. That's the next thing. Check the resistors and check our ohms across the primary of this transformer. All right, so that's what we're up to then. And then, of course, all this over here, well, this is your rectifier circuit. But if we're not getting AC here, it's no use looking up here at the moment. So we're starting back here. Almost got him. There we go. Boy, he was clamped in there fairly well. Certainly making good contact. So this fella's not too bad to get apart. We've got a circlip in here, and probably just bend that side out just a little bit, and I'd say we'll be able to get him out of his package. Now, let's check the two resistors, and they're supposed to be, I'll just grab my meter, supposed to be 100 ohm. Let's see what they are. There's quite a few of these old radios around, so yeah, it'll be... Okay. We're looking at 0.7. I'd say we're going to have to lift this off the primary of the transformer. The easiest way to do these, I think, is to cut them because they're wrapped around in there. You would never get them out. Okay, looking for 100 ohm. 97.4. That's pretty close. This one, 101.4. That's pretty damn close as well. Now, the transformer, the primary winding is between there and there. We're looking at 0.4 ohms. 0.4. 0.4. That's, is that correct? That's our center tapped of the transformer. So from there to one winding is 0.2, and from there to the other winding is 0.2. And together we've got 0.4. Now, this being 12 volts, the windings would be very low value anyway. So it doesn't actually say anywhere of resistances. We'll just have another look. See, there's a second page to this. No, well, I've just been and had a look, guys, and I haven't got any information on ohms readings other than what the resistors are. We don't know across here, but it'd be very low because it's just a 6-volt stage, so the ohms reading is going to be very low. Probably got a higher reading on the output, on the secondary rather. Let's have a look at it, just out of interest, and we'll see what it reads. So the secondary comes from here to here. Let's see if I can get him on there. And he's 1K. So, yeah, that would probably be about right. Now, to ground, we should have a center tap in there. Okay, we've got 530 ohms on one, and the other leg we have 483 to ground. So, yeah, from the center tap. Alrighty, both resistors are okay. We'll, of course, change this cap, but it's not causing a drama there at the moment. There is still 12 volts, and I'm using DC power supply, so and it's a linear supply, so ripple is nothing going into this, and no spikes, which that thing suppresses. So I guess we're back to the vibrator. So let's resolder these and have a better look at the vibrator. Righto, guys. Another video about a vibrator. You know, I didn't think it'd come up this soon, but anyway, let's get a go on. It's a 5105, which are a very common vibrator. So the go here, I'm going to try and remove the circlip to start with, I think. I think this might be the starting point. I'm not real sure how this is going to work. Oh, you don't know. This may be okay. It sort of wants to pop out. There we go. Right. Now, can we get this out we might be able to without touching this end. And pull him down gently. Now this will be full of foam or rubber type material, which doesn't really want to come out. Here we go. That's his little boot around these wires at the bottom. And there we are. Yeah, well, I don't know what you can see in there, but it doesn't look real good. This, yeah. Are we going to get this fella going again? Don't say no. We've got to get him going. Okay, there's our wires in there. Everything's intact. Everything's intact at the bottom. Should all be okay. Now, our contacts look terrible. Don't know whether you can see them. They don't look real good. We've got a little bit of black here, but I don't think that's anything to worry about. That's probably my famous last words. Now, the thing is, how far do we take this apart before we decide to say that's enough? We'll clean it like it is. I think we'll take the screws out of the bottom. I think this unit, normally I wouldn't do this, but I think this one is a little bit. I'll just have a look under that boot. No, he's okay. I think with this one, although once you take those out, it's a pain to get them back. But okay, let's see what he does. Okay, let's put 6 bolts on here. And he seems to work okay. The vibration part is working okay. So it's probably only our main contacts that actually go to the transformer are dirty. Here we go. That's him working. So I would say that these contacts, which actually switch the transformer, probably dirty. We can certainly put a meter across them and see what's going on. Maybe, but I would still like to take it apart and do the contacts properly, but gee, a little bit of effort. And getting everything back exactly as it is set up is, a little bit of a problem. I think we'll get some possibly 1,000 grit wet and dry, and we might start with 600 and work them up to 1,000 and clean the contacts and see how we go then. I've taken our little boot off, which is in not real good shape. He's falling apart. We have the wires down the bottom here, and as you can see, it's the whole thing's coming apart. So this will be it looks like a vibrator rebuild. This will be an interesting video, a lot more than what I anticipated. These wires, they're don't know whether this one here doesn't even look like it's connecting there. It's corroded. I might replace the wires with just some the most flexible small wire that I've got. We're only handling about 3 amps with this, so the wiring doesn't have to be super strong. But anyway, there it is. I think I'll start jotting down where things go, and we're going to take the base off. I'm sort of inclined to make this a vibrator rebuild. So I think what we'll do is remove the wires, everything off the bottom, and take this apart, because I can't get any continuity between the contacts on either side. They're badly burnt. They need to be restored properly to a good surface. Otherwise, it'll just keep giving problems. There's a little bit of rust around the place. Not that that's hurting anything, but I'd like to get all this cleaned up. So going to write down a few of, well, all of the connections here, and then we'll work out what we're going to do. Now, as you can see, the plus goes up here to our coil. Our negative is ground, which goes in there, just to the body of the vibrator. The other two, they're your contacts on either side of here. So, we'll write this down, and I think she's going to be a rebuild. So hopefully, sorry guys, I've had the camera in the wrong position there. That's a bit better. Hopefully, I'll bring you guys along with this. Yes, it'd be very easy to throw this in the bin, but and put a solid state one in. I don't want to do that. I want to make this as good as new. So, and a few of us out there might learn a few tricks from this as far as restoring these little fellas. Okay, let's get into it. I'm sure you can all follow that. That's a pretty good drawing, I reckon. Not done with AutoCAD or anything, but that'll do us. I can follow that. Okay, we have our base off. Put him aside. Now, I was going to unsolder these wires, but I'm going to leave them until we get everything apart. So, now, the big exercise. Let's get these screws and plate, and I hope we can get this back together. But anyway, this is a bit of an adventure for all of us. I hope you guys are there with me. Let's find a screwdriver that will do that. Okay. Now the moment of truth. Second one comes out. Everything loses its settings, timing, but we can, well, not timing, but our point setting, but we can set that back up. Okay. Here we go. We take that off. And then we can slip slip the center out like so. There we go. And there's a contact in there. That little fella, he looks terrible. He's burnt. He looks terrible. So we'll do something with him. Now, this fella, just want to know what comes apart here and in what order. That fella. Then this fella on this side, another small spacer. We also have some mica in here, so we've just got to be careful. Another small spacer, some mica. If I can get him out gently, very gently, and then contact, and then some mica. Now, we'll go and take a picture of all this, what sequence we're taking it out. And then we've got, I think that's it for that side. So then we go we've got a couple of spaces in here, our mica. Then on this side, our contact. And then another mica. And then a little spacer. Now we're going to have to arrange this. Mica. And then take that spacer out. And we have a spacer on this side. Let's rearrange this. And then we have this fella. And then we have that fella. Because I'll probably have to watch this video back when I'm putting him back together. Then we have that fella, that one, that one. So let's put a bit of separation here in the center. There. And our two little spacers. Let's take a picture of this before I go absolutely any further. You guys can, if you're doing this might help you. There you go. I'll just take me picture. Righto, guys, there's what I've got to work with. Here's our center one. And the contacts, as you can see, not real good. Not real good. There's been a little bit of arcing. Got to be all cleaned up. Now, left-hand contact here. Not terribly bad, but not real good either. Looks like it's actually rust that's gone over the end of the contact. And the right-hand one, yeah, pretty well the same. Rusty, horrible. So we'll clean up all this. The mica does seem okay. I will give it a little bit of alcohol on the edges and that to clean the mica up. Certainly won't be putting it in water. We've got to be fairly gentle with the mica spaces. These little spaces, they're quite good. Yeah, it's a matter of cleaning up all the bits and pieces and then putting some new wire on here. I don't know what wire we're going to put on there yet. These little fellas, all the same except the outside ones, which are a little bit thicker. Let's get into this, clean it all up, see what we can do with it. Can we put it together? I really don't know at this stage. I would say so. I would say we can get this going. Well, here we are, all cleaned up. Everything has been cleaned in an ultrasonic cleaner, plus polished up. The contacts have been cleaned up and have actually come up pretty well. They're quite good. We don't seem to have autofocus happening here at the moment. I don't know why. Why aren't we focusing? Yes, we are. Okay, we'll try this again. There we go. Contacts are pretty good, actually. They're not terribly burnt at all. So all looks pretty good. That little fella there is a little bit pitted, but I don't want to bend or disturb him too much. He's very clean, and I'm sure this will outlast the radio. Okay, so we've got everything in position. We've cleaned this fellow up. The best he'll clean up anyway. And our little contact on here, he cleaned up quite nicely. As you can see, he's pitted as well. So, in actual fact, we might get a very, very fine file on these fellas just before I put them in. I'll have a look at that now before we go ahead and put this together. Just a little bit more on the file here, but I think he's looking reasonably good. Still a little bit of pitting there. Just see if we can try and get that out a little bit. And looks pretty good. Okay, now the task of getting this thing back together. I'm not a professional in these things. I'm just trying to get this back working as it was, and make it so it's reliable in the radio it's going in. It's, as I said, we could replace this with a solid state device, which is done these days anyway. But I like getting the old stuff working again. So yeah, if we can get it back together, it would be good. Starting point here. This is what I'm thinking anyway. Our starting point would be these fellas. And then we go to our next spacer. Now I'm only putting this back together the way it come apart. Not certain of where everything goes, but let's give this a crack, eh? Second one on. Then we go to contact. Now, the contact goes that way around because our contact is going to the inside. We then go our next mica, then a spacer, then our main center conductor, or our main center supply. He's looking correct so far. Now, this fella. Now, I've got to look at some pictures here, so we'll pause this for a moment because I've got to work out which way the weight was around on this fella. Now, according to my pictures, my weight on this side of him faces away from my screw heads. Another spacer. Another mica washer. This will be so boring for some of you guys, but well, if I can help someone out there put one of these together, all this will be worth it. Or is there anyone else silly enough to do what I'm doing? Possibly not. Now, spacer on. Another spacer on. And then we're going to put our end cap, which is our little threaded piece on the end. Now, how we do all this, I'm not real sure. But let's see if I can get him started, and at least that holds things together. And yes, he does start. We've got to be careful we don't tighten this and squash our small nylon spacers in here, these little fellas in the center. We've just got to be careful there. Okay, all is in. Now, we've got to get all this together and lined up, and this might be more of a trick than what it looked. Now, something doesn't look right. I think our spacer here is supposed to be on this side because he's too far over this way to this side, and that spacer should be in there. But he does have a little bit of free movement yet. No, he's tightening up the wrong way. We do have this spacer. This is strange because this is the way in the order they come off. We do have to change the spacer on this fella. Okie doke. We might have this correct. We've got our spacers in there anyway with our contacts. We may have to adjust these slightly. We can see they should have about a paper width between them. This one's slightly wide. Slightly wide, a little bit too wide, so we're going to have to bring him in slightly. But I think he's all looking reasonably good. This is exactly how it came apart. So we've just got to make sure we've got the right spacings, everything works before we put this into the main frame. So our little point is there, and he lines up with this fella on here, so it'll all go together like so. So yeah, I just wanted to put this together. I know we've got to take the screw out to put him in here, but first of all, I wanted to do these one by one on here and make sure that our contacts and the sequence of putting things back together and everything all works. There is no shorts, the mica washers are doing their job, so forth. This is just me doing this. Lots of other guys would probably do this different, or, well, if they had any sense, probably not do it at all. Okay, we'll continue and set the points maybe a little bit closer. The procedure here, I want to put this into here. So one screw at a time, take him out. I don't know whether this is going to work. Hopefully it does. And we'll do these one at a time. We can't do these one at a time, can we, guys? Got to take the screws out, it's got to go through here, and our plate has to go on the other side here. So I'm certain of the sequence with this. We're just going to have to get him back in here and then set him up again. And in the meantime, don't lose anything out of here, the sequence of events that's got to happen here. Okay, our little screw plate is off. Our contact there goes to this threaded side, which is our other little set of points, which goes in here. this is the tricky bit, getting this out and getting this over there, getting the screw back in, and that wasn't too bad. And the same with this side. And putting our plate back on. Okay, let's get things lined up here. We've got to make sure our points are lined up. As I said, I'm not an expert on these. I'm going by general knowledge of how these things work. That knowledge is not huge. But we will have a go and try and fix anything. Okay, tighten him up just a little bit. Now, got to get our point central. Get our points lined up. Okay. Now, multimeter time to make sure these contacts aren't touching anything else, like on the body of this. So, here we go. We go onto the body. And that one's good. It's not touching anything. And this one is not touching anything, which is good. This fella, not touching, which is perfect. That's that fella, the center. And if we now go, we'll go from our center to this side. There you go. And center to this side. He works. Well, they made contact anyway. Okay, let's get our little point system in this side set up, and we can then set our level and give him a try. Right, so we've got to set our points there now, and what we want is it is just touching our center point. Let's see what we can do here. That is just touching. Now how we set this, just there. That's our point of contact. We may have to fine tune this once we get it going. We go here, then we tighten this fellow. we don't tighten him too much because we may have to adjust this. So just so he's just holding there. Okay. Let's say we apply some power onto this fella and give him a go, eh? And see if he vibrates. This will be a miracle if this works. Okay, power supply, 6 volts. Just bear with me for a second. Okay, guys, ground lead. Here's the moment of truth. See how he goes. And she's not adjusted up there a little bit, needs backing off a bit. So we'll back this fella off until we can get him oscillating. And let's see if we can get him to vibrate by taking this fellow in and in and in until he just touches. And he's away. And we've got a game so that he self-starts. We just back this fella off just a little bit because he's got a self-start. Okay, back him off a little bit more and we'll put him back pretty well into the position that he was when we started. Not starting there, so he needs to be in just a bit. There. Not quite. We've taken him back too far. Okay, there. Starts up fine. So we'll give him a little bit more there. And he's starting up no problem. So we'll nip this fella up. Now, as I said, I'm not certain of how to set these. This is just my way that I'm doing this fella. And he works quite nicely. Now, I'm not real sure of, is this, I think the centre is positive and this is negative. Okay, he's going nicely. What we want to do now is test between our positive centre lead and either of these fellas. And I'm going to do that with an oscilloscope so that we can put the crow on there and see what sort of a waveform and we've got on each leg and compare them and set them up the same. Okay, we've got him sitting here running. This is channel 1, this is channel 2, hooked up to our contacts. Now at the moment I know this switch is negative on the contacts, but in this case I'm switching positive to get me oscilloscope reading, and yeah, that's more or less what I was expecting. There's a lot of noise happening here, a lot of spikes with cap noise and so forth. The Channel 1, no, I can't move him independent, but that's, yeah, this is around about what I was expecting. Not exactly the same spacings as far as timing, but yeah, that's good enough for what I want this thing to do. Now, if I touch it here, we've got all sorts of noise, but yeah, that should do the job. We'll put him in once he's cleaned up with a cap and get rid of the spikes. Hopefully it'll be okay. This is certainly not factory specs. As I said, with factory specs you would have identical opposite waveforms, but in this case that's pretty close to how I wanted it. Okay, let's go a step further and try and mount this thing back into his case, and we can test him out. Well, guys, this video's dragged on a lot longer than what I thought because of what we've been doing. So we might call it quits for part 1, and I'll do a little bit of editing over the next couple of days probably, and we'll get part 2 up as quickly as I can. It'll only be probably a couple of days. So, yeah, and you can see how we end up with this old girl. All right, until then, it's... please remember to like, give us a thumbs up, and subscribe. If you could subscribe and share, that'd be wonderful. Just helps us along the way. Okay then, we'll catch you guys later. Bye for now.